So now I'm going to show you the step-by-step process of creating the agent's performance indicator using our data in Excel. So let's dive right in. First, let's make a new worksheet and let's name it as agent's performance. After that, let's run our macro for the worksheet customization, which I made earlier. So let's choose macro, find performance indicator, and then click run. So this is what it looks like. Now we're going to enter our agent's information. The agent's information includes their name, their supervisor, their date of hire, and their tenure. So let's start with the agent's name. The agent's name. So for the agent's name, since there are multiple agents, we can make a drop-down list using data validation. So for that, let's go to data validation, find list, and then we have to use or we have to choose a source for our list. So we can go here in our analysis or in any part of our worksheet that contains the data of our agent's name. So in my case, I'm going to choose this source or this pivot table as my source. And then let's hit OK. So let's check if the result is what we are expecting. So next is our supervisor. So let's put the supervisor here. And in order to generate the supervisor's name, we can use an Excel function. For this, we can use the XLOOKUP function, and we will use the agent's name as our lookup value. So it goes like this: XLOOKUP, lookup value, press the F8 key. Next is our lookup array. So that would be the name of the agent. Press F4 key again. And then the return array. What do we want? So we want the supervisor. F4 key. And hit enter. So next to that is our date of hire. So for the date of hire, we can also use the same lookup function. Let's just copy and paste. However, we're gonna change some values here. So for our lookup value, it's the same. For the return array, we have to change this one. So since we're looking for the date of hire, then we should use that as our lookup or as our return array. So where is it? There it is. And then press the F4 key, hit enter. So since it's in a number format, let's change the format into a date format. Let's go to date and change it into this format. All right. So last is our tenure. So for the tenure, we're going to use the average if function. Average if. The range, this is the range for our criteria, that is the agent's name. So let's go to the dataset, agent's name here. All right, press the F4 key. Next one is the criteria. The criteria value will be our agent's name here. And then our average range, that's the return value that we want. So that would be the tenure. Then press the F4 key and then hit enter. There we go. All right. So next, we're going to make our agent's performance metrics. These metrics include total calls handled, average calls per day, average handling time, average good time, and customer ratings. So let's start with our calls handled. So let's go on to our worksheet. Let's type in total calls handled. So in order to generate the values, we are going to use the SUMIF function. So let's put SUMIF function. SUMIFs. And then for the sum range, this is the values that we're looking for. Now let's go to our call center dataset, and then let's look for the calls handled values. So they are here. And then next would be our criteria range. So the criteria would be our name column. And then let's lock the array again. And then next would be our criteria value. That's for the agent's performance worksheet. This is our data validation list. So that when we change the name of the agent, it will automatically update. Let's close the bracket. Then let's hit enter. So that's the total calls handled for Cherry Castillo. So next metric would be our, let me check. That would be our average calls per day. Yes. So for the average calls per day, average calls per day. So for our average calls per day, we just have to use the average ifs function. So we just have to copy this formula here from the total calls handled, and then let's paste it here. And then let's change the sum ifs into average ifs. There we go. And then let's hit enter. So this is the average calls per day for Cherry Castillo. And let's round this off to probably two decimal points. No. Since this is calls per day, it should be a whole number. So let's round it off to a whole number. Actually, we can just change the format. Control 1 and number. Change it into 0. There we go. So she has an average of 36 calls per day. So after the average calls per day, next would be our average handling time. So let's type in average handling time. So for the average handling time or holding time, we're also going to use the average ifs function. So we just have to copy this, but we have to change some values here. All right, we have to change our average range for the HD range. So let's go on to our call center data set. Let's look for the HT array. Oh, okay, let me just do it again. Let's delete this one, go to the call center data set, go to the HT. We're gonna use the minutes, so let's choose this one and then lock the cell or the array. F4. Next would be the criteria range. So same criteria range, the name of the agents, and then let's just hit enter. We're having what do you call this? We're having problem here, an error. I guess I guess I know what the error is. We just have to remove this one. All right. Well, the format is the same as our calls per day, right? So we have to change the format. Control 1 and then go to custom, then choose the minutes and seconds format. There you go. So that is Cherry's handling time, average handling time. 10 minutes in, 21 seconds. Maybe we could also put the unit here in minutes. And let's adjust the cell. All right. And then next metric would be our average queue time. So let's type in average queue time. And this would be in seconds. In seconds. All right. And then for the average queue time, the function that we're going to use is still averages. We just have to change the values here for our sum range or for our average range. So let's delete that one. Delete the entire array. Okay, let's go to the call center dataset. Look for the average queue time. Then lock this array. Then hit enter. So the format, we're gonna change it into a number since this is actually in number. Maybe just 1 decimal point. All right. And lastly would be our customer ratings. So let's put average customer ratings. There we go. So same, we're gonna use the average ifs. And then let's change this array into customer satisfaction ratings array. There you go. And then let's lock this array. Hit enter. So that is Cherry's overall customer rating, 7.6. So lastly, we're gonna create a section for performance by product. So this section includes ratings for specific loan types like property loan, personal loan, and car loan. Actually, we can just write all three of them. So let's go with property loan and personal loan and then the car loan. There you go. And then for the values, we can use let me see. So for the values, we can use the average ifs function. So we can just copy this function here from the average customer ratings. There we go. And then let's just modify this function. So as for our criteria, we need to add another criteria. So we already have criteria 1, right? So we have to make another criteria. That's the criteria number 2. For the criteria number 2, that would be our property loan, personal loan, and car loan. Let's go to the call center data set first. We have to look for the criteria 2 range. That would be the product name. Then after that, let's go back to our agent's performance. Let's choose the property loan. And for this, we can just press the F4 key 3 times. And then we just have to drag this formula up to the car loan. So as you can see, it automatically updates the customer satisfaction ratings for each type of loan. Now to make it look more descriptive, we have to put some titles for every metrics. So first, let's go with our agent's information. I think the cells are a little bit farther from each other, so we're going to adjust this to the column. There you go. Then let's just adjust the width size or the cell's width. And then after that, we have to make titles for each metrics. We're going to start with the agent's information. So let's Cool. Let's merge these two cells. Then let's write down our title. Agents information. And then for the other one, and this one as well, let's merge them. Um, the name for this column or for these metrics would be agents performance metrics. Performance metrics. And then this metric would be performance by products. There we go. So now let's summarize these performance by products by average, and then let's make it bold. Then let's highlight these, and then let's click AutoSum. Let's go to average. Then let's put a border here, maybe a thick border below. Yeah, there we go. So this is what our agent's performance indicator looks like. So now for the findings and the conclusion, please refer to the section below.